Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Cuyahoga County Public Safety and Justice Affairs Committee this Tuesday, February 20th. Roll call, please.
And just as a reminder to all who are in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Gallagher,
Here.
Ms. Conwell, Mr. Byrne,
Here.
Mr. Kelly,
Here.
Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. There is a quorum.
We have public comment?
No, Mr. Chair, no one is signed in.
Thank you. In your package, you've received the minutes of our January 30th meeting. If they're in order, I'll accept a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Thank you. 2024-0073.
Resolution number 2024-0073, authorizing an amendment to a master contract with various providers for trauma-informed respite and youth care center services.
Good morning, Tara Brown, Juvenile Court. This is,
Is that on?
yeah, the light is on. Can you
Oh,
hear
can
me?
you pull it towards you?
Is that better?
That's better.
Okay,
Your
Tara
name?
Brown, Tara Brown, Juvenile Court.
Thank you.
So this is our amendment to a master contract with various providers for trauma-informed respite and youth care services. Begin the period of 9/1/21, and we're extending it through 6/30/2024. This is for additional, and adding additional funds in the total amount not to exceed $510,293.94. And I would like to note that the briefing memo did originally say it was 100% reclaim funded. However, because reclaim dollars do not fund any stays 30 days or over, we actually have levy fund dollars to cover that. And it's included in the total amount not to exceed.
And who's this gentleman?
We also have our Director of
Doing Thomas Pipkin. I'm the Director of Programming at the court.
Welcome. Are there questions?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
through the chair, to Ms. Brown, the reclaim dollars that you talked about and the HHS levy dollars will kick in if they're not there. We get reimbursed back, right?
No, we don't get reimbursed. Reclaim dollars do not cover any, if the stay is over 30 days, then we have to use the general fund or levy dollars. And I can clarify that once I get back to look at my record.
Okay, does the respite and youth, has there been a lot of cases where children have stayed, I take it we're talking about youth, have stayed in past 30 days? Frequent is that?
I think the last year, we may have counted 13 stays that went over 30 days. And I don't know the percentage of the total youth, but I can get that number back to you as well.
Does those 13 stays come into play because the child is in our care and we don't have a placement available for them?
You might, Tom.
It could be a combination of things. So when you state that they're in our care, at that point, typically they have some level of court involvement. Typically them going to the youth care centers is based upon the fact that a parent, guardian was not willing to take the youth home at that time. So we may have utilized a youth care center beyond the initial short-term stay of maybe overnight for an arraignment. But then from that point, it may still be a linkages of services, and or if the parent or guardian is still not willing to take that youth home, or whatever the case may be, we may ask that the youth remain at a youth care center instead of being in our detention center population. So that is the 30 days. Our reclaim funds only afford us for short-term stays, so anything over 30 days is considered a longer term.
So through the chair, how do we hone in on keeping that budget a little bit tighter? When you initially talking to the courts or the parents or whatever, isn't there a case that is determined by that kid how long they're going to stay at a facility, and some kind of agreements that this is the time that we're allowing? And where I'm going with this is that if that's the agreement, then where are the parents being able to, some of that going back on them? If the kid stays over, then they should be, I mean, those are the kind of conversations that we should have. It's one thing, I've been a social worker long enough to know that maybe that kid's not ready and the parent is scared and don't want the kid back. And they think they need a little bit more therapy, but also they need the help in paying for it. So where are we at with that?
So in relation to a parent and them paying a portion, that's not something historically that the court has held a parent accountable for. But, keeping in mind that if it is a situation where there is a parent that is not willing to have a youth return back to their home, at that point, we typically do, from a court standpoint, probably get Children and Family Services involved, and bring it to their attention so that they can begin their interview process. Because especially if it's in a situation where, from a community safety standpoint, we believe that the youth can be served in the community safely, but the parent is still not willing to take them home, that's when we do, reach out to our partners to say, hey, we may have to file an intent so that, whatever issues the parent is identifying can hopefully be addressed through whatever services. But from a financial standpoint, that's not something that the court has been.
Well, we need advocacy around this and with the state of Ohio and what that looks like, because I can already tell you, DCFS, and we have the same issues, right? Parent drops their kid off at the emergency room, they don't care, they're not dealing with it because, not that they don't want their kid, but they may be scared of their kid, right? So they want all this stuff to, the society to come up and take care of the child, and then the child goes into a facility, hopefully. If not, then they're left at our building because we don't have any space. I just think that we need to wrap our minds around, there's a cost to where everybody is, and the parents, they kind of get away, get off, so to speak, in so many instances that we've talked about, whether they leave them at the hospital, they're not held accountable. So just wondering if you guys were thinking about how we can hold them more to accountability, and how do we involve the state if we need to with the state, but somebody's picking up the cost, and it's the parents are always getting a free ride, and it's their children. Thank you.
Further questions? Boy, you guys deal with tough situations. I see the time doesn't line up real well, so I'm assuming you're going to want to move this pretty quickly. If the committee's okay with that, I would recommend Resolution 2024-0073 to the full council under second reading suspension. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Against? Thank you.
Thank you.
And do we have any miscellaneous business? Hearing none.